with that, gusto nating malaman, sa case naman po doon sa Central Visayas, ano naman yung kanilang pagkaka-implement ng CMC 16 2016?
Your Honor, thank you. Specific po yun, sinusundan po namin yung yung directives po dito. Kung ano pong nakalagay po sa CMC ay ganun po yun, sir, ang nire-relate po namin sa mga tauhan namin. As to the justice same na sinabi ni General Albayalde, how we gathered the evidence para po mag-file ng operations ay sinusundan po yun, sir. Okay, then pagka may enough evidence, anyway, authorized naman po sa batas yung mag-bypass, di ba? So, pag na-confirm ng mga tao namin, they conduct either mag-apply ng search warrant or they conduct the bypass operations. Ganun po, sir, ang procedures doon.
Mr. Chair, pagdating po dun sa mga binabanggit ng police na mga suspected na mga drug pushers man, halimbawa yung often cited po na nanlaban, sa ganun pong mga instances na merong nanlaban, pwede po bang maipaliwanag sa ganung mga instances, ano po ang ginagawa ng police?
Pagka meron pong casualty, actually, ang nanlaban na term is used by the media, Your Honor. But pag meron pong casualties during the police operations, ay meron po kaming built-in procedures doon. Immediately po ay ang IAS namin ay nagkakandak po ng Internal Affairs Service namin, immediately conduct their motu proprio investigations doon. Kami rin po ay inimbestigahan yung mga tao namin at inaalam kung ano nangyari, at yung mga direct commanders nila were directed to submit the report on what happens or what is the actual incident nangyari po sa operations na yun po, sir. At if the evidence warrants for the filing of the case against our people, it's our Internal Affairs Service office that handles for that, sir.
So sa ganong mga instances, Mr. Chair, ano din ba ang range na mga pwedeng gawin ng police? Kasi pag nanlaban po, may range din po yun eh. Pwedeng nanlaban ka parang nagbabudge ka, o iba din kung yung nanlaban ay merong baril, ganon. So, ibig sabihin, ano ang tolerance din na ine-execute? Ano ang mga pwedeng gawin? At ano yung hindi pwedeng gawin nung police sa ganong mga instances?
Ang guidance po namin, sir, just like sinabi ni General Albayalde na we observe the human rights, is kung may imminent threat po sa life ng mga enforcers po. If there's an imminent threat at alam nila na may delikado rin po ang buhay nila while conducting the operations, then it is on their discretion to defend themselves against overpowering opponent po, sir.
So yung procedures po ba na yun ay meron pong reference, Mr. Chair, nakasulat po ba yun? O ano din, kani-kanyang diskarte din?
I think, sir, mukhang meron naman ata yan, sir, kasi yun po yung nare-relay po namin sa mga tao, sir.
So ano po yung reference na iyon? Can our former PNP chief cite that, Mr. Chair?
Actually, sir, maski hindi naman naka-specify yan dito sa directive, sir, we undergo series of seminars, both sa human rights, operations, and intel po, na in-emphasize po yan doon. So, hindi po talaga specific na isang directive catch-all lahat dito sa Oplan Double Barrel po lahat yan, sir. Kasi, kumbaga, sir, yung mga yon ay already supposed to be alam na po ng mga pulis namin, sir.
So, so far mula dun, Mr. Chair, gusto ko lang kunin din yung pagtingin ng ating mga lawyers dahil nga mula dun sa police operation, pag-house to house, tapos yung fact na hindi nga nagfa-file ng kaso. I'd like to hear, Mr. Chair, from Attorney Conti and Attorney Jokno. Based sa kanilang knowledge, how sound is the whole process at ano po yung implications ng ganong process? Maybe Attorney Conti, then Attorney Chel.
First, thank you, Mr. Chair. But first, regarding suspected or the concept of suspicion, it is not a basis to file charges. The basis is probable cause, and therefore you have to raise the quantum of evidence from mere suspicion to something that is probable cause, reasonable probability that this person committed a crime and that this person was the one who committed the crime. In the case of, the PNP has been citing the drugs law, so the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act. 5, 11, 12, 13. Yan po yung mga kaso doon. 5 is sale, 11 is possession of drugs, 12 is possession of paraphernalia, 13 is use. Ito po yung mga criminal cases. Unless there is probable cause to charge these people with that crimes, then hindi po sila pwedeng, sa totoo lang, hindi po sila pwedeng ipa-surrender, na sa palagay ko, in practice, hindi naman voluntary yung naging surrender. Pangalawa, dito po sa surrender, from the questioning of Congressman Manuel, it has been raised that the surrender happens, supposedly, yung tokhang is that you knock randomly on people's doors. Hindi po rin pwede ito. Kasi again, it's just based on suspicion. And even if we say, actually ang nangyayari po sa totoong buhay ay, kumakatok sila sa lahat ng bahay. So, sonahin po yung mga lugar, palalabasin ng mga tao, and there's two parts. They ask you to maybe provide information, and second, they ask you to do drug tests. First, as to voluntary surrender, if we were to consider this as first, an extrajudicial confession. Ang extrajudicial confession po na, opo, ako ang may sala, ako ay may ginawang krimen, ako po ay user, or ako po ay pusher, seller, etc. It is not within the legal standards. Kapag extrajudicial confession po, na para admissible sa korte, una, kailangan po ay meron kayong abogado. Ang inyo pong confession ay nakasulat, pirmado, at sa harap o sa witnessed by your counsel and also by some other person whom you trust. Stricto po ito. In fact, actually pwede po kayong mag-waive ng abogado. Kaya sabihin nyo, aamin ako, walang abogado. Pero yung pag-waive nyo ng abogado, kailangan din po ay nakapirma at nakasulat na pumapayag akong wala akong abogado at gusto kong mag-execute ng extrajudicial confession. Kaya sa totoo lang, hindi po maiiwasan ang participation ng abogado. Kasi kung ayaw mong magkaroon ng abogado pag aamin ka, bago mo gawin yon, kailangan mo ng abogado para alam mo na ano ang consequences kapag umamin ka. In the concept of voluntary surrender, ito po ang tinatawag na mitigating circumstance sa criminal law. Yung term na yon, ibig sabihin, sumusuko ka sa batas. Ang assumption nun, may kaso po kayo at sumusuko ka sa korte. Kaya yung konteksto niya dito sa tokhang ay hindi sa ganoong legal framework at mukhang pinapasuko ka at pinapaamin sa isang krimen na hindi mo alam. At punta po ako dito sa drug testing dahil magkadikit po ito eh. Sa drug testing, meron diyang una, violation of the right against self-incrimination. Kasi hindi ka naman dapat or hindi ka required na magbigay ng ebidensya laban sa sarili mo. Yun nga yung sinasabi, you have the right to remain silent. At kung maglalabas ka ng ebidensya, ihi mo, na magiging daan para magkaroon ka ng kaso, kasi ang drug testing po ngayon, na ginagawa po ng police in practice, papaihiin sa isang parang lalagyan, tapos merong stick, ito po yung parang sasawsaw, tapos pag basta may indicator, positive, negative, medyo crude po ito, medyo lumang paraan siguro. Dahil ganun, syempre, hindi mo maiiwasan, posibleng may mix-up, posibleng may pagkakamali. Kaya hindi rin ito, hindi rin tayo sasang-ayon sa nakalagay sa Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Law. Kasi po, ang nakalagay doon, dapat authorized ang testing. DOH certified. At kailangan po, dalawa pa nga yung phases ng testing eh. Una, yung unang test and then may confirmatory test. Hindi po pwedeng isa lang at yung sausaw sa ihi lang. Kaya po, marami pong butas talaga ang Command Memorandum Circular. Magsimula pa lang sa house-to-house, visitation, etc. Noong 2017 nga po, nagsampa po kami ng kaso para po sa mga residente ng Payatas at ng Scout Tuason sa Quezon City. Dahil ito pong Batasan Station 6 in particular, sa pamumuno po ni Colonel Lito Patay, na naging respondent po namin sa kasong yon, naging overzealous sila. Ito po ay sinabi ni Colonel Elizar. Nagpapaumanhin siya kasi parang medyo sumobra. Nag-house to house po sila ng census at ng drug test. Lumabis naman masyado kasi po meron sila pong census form. Ang itsura po ng census form sa dulo parang meron ba ditong addict? Tapos sa baba, may iba bang mga taga-barangay mo na addict din? So this actually mirrors one of the DILG's efforts before to solicit information. Kanina po nababanggit yung tungkol sa parang drug list or listahan ng mga suspected drug users, pushers. Ang naging documentation yan ay drug lists or narco lists or narco politicians list. Iba't iba pong mga ahensya ang naglabas ng ganitong klaseng listahan. Dito po sa ganitong parang community sourced information, naging problematic kasi parang kahit kapitbahay nyo, pwede nyong isumbong kahit hindi totoo. Yung drop box, parang raffle na kung kaaway niyo yung kapitbahay nyo, ihulog niyo yung pangalan at baka manalo na pagsuspetsahan siya ng pulis. Kaya kung babalik po tayo dun sa unang basis, I think one of the main arguments is that the information that has been provided to the police is simply not validated according to proper regulations.
So kung ganun, Mr. Chair, parang dalawa yung nakuha ko doon. Pwede palang maging source din ng information ay Marites, kung sino yung mga magiging suspects na pupuntahan ng ating mga pulis para tukhangin. Pangalawa, Mr. Chair, kaya pala nagkakaroon ng conducive environment for extrajudicial killings kasi meron palang ganong extrajudicial confessions naman na parang pinipilit yung ating mga kababayan na magsabi ng kung ano mga bagay kasi ang at stake na ay mismong buhay nila. It's either sila ay kakampi o sila ay kalaban. Parang ganun lang yung dichotomy doon, Mr. Chair. So, for additional input, can we ask Attorney Joc, no?
Mr. Chair, with the indulgence of the
Before yun, I'd like to recognize Congressman Ramon Gutierrez of the One Rider Party List.
thank you. Mr. Chair, if papayag po si Honorable Manuel, just a quick interjection before we move from Attorney Conti.
Oh,
Okay.
Thank
okay.
you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I just wanted to clarify so that there is a claim that yung Operation Tokhang, it is a vast, wide net that is cast. Kumakatok po sila, lumalabas, pinapa-drug test. Lahat po ito?
Iba-iba actually, sabi nga nila kanya-kanyang patakaran. Pero dun sa mga communities na nabanggit ko, sa Payatas at sa Scout Zone, may ganoon po palisiya na lahat palalabasin tapos drug test. Marami pong mga news reports tungkol po dito sa pagsusona.
Mr. Chair, were we submitted documentation of this claim? If we may ask the Comsec. There was any, or if we may ask Attorney Conti if they submitted documentation of that.
I think, Mr. Chair, Your Honor, we can provide a copy of the prohibition petition that we filed in 2017. It contains the statements of the witnesses para po may level of certainty in the proof, hindi lang police reports. We will... Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair, I request that this representation be also given a copy of the same. Thank you
Yes.
very much, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, can we hear from Attorney Joc, no?
I think Your Honors, I think the law is clear as far as the job of the Philippine National Police is concerned. They are there to gather evidence and then apprehend people who are committing crimes and engaged in criminal activities. Kaya po kami nagtaka nung nabasa namin yung Command Memorandum Circular 16-2016 dahil maliban dun sa pag-case build-up o pangongolekta ng ebidensya, maliban din sa pang-aaresto, ay may nakasingit na salita na nabanggit ni Congressman Manuel.
Pakilakas po, pakilakas.
Kaya po kami nagtaka nung nabasa po namin yung Command Memorandum Circular 16-2016 na maliban doon sa pangongolekta ng ebidensya, pagsagawa ng case build-up at pag-aaresto ng mga kriminal, ay may nakasingit na salitang negation at neutralization. Ang klaro naman sa mga manual po ng PNP na pwede silang gumamit ng lethal force only in very limited circumstances pagka talagang lives are in danger. Pero dalawa po yung pinagtatakahan namin doon na since their job is to collect evidence and then arrest people engaged in criminal activity, bakit pa kailangan lagyan ng negation at neutralization? Clear naman yon na hindi kasama sa trabaho nila yon. And it's also clear from the manuals of the Philippine National Police na pwede lang silang gumamit ng force, lethal force, in very, very limited circumstances. At bawal din ang excessive use of force. So yun yung pinagtatakahan din namin sa Command Memorandum Circular 16-2016. These are also arguments that we have brought to the court, the Supreme Court.
Okay. Mr. Chair, ito na lang ilang mga punto. Mr. Chair, sabi sa The Drug Archive, isang collaborative project ng Ateneo School of Government, De La Salle, Philippines, UP Diliman, tsaka Center for Investigative Journalism sa Columbia University. Sabi po nila, the deadliest months, yung sa Tokhang, were the first 3 months after former President Duterte was sworn in. Kasama po dyan July 2016 with 738 recorded deaths. August 2016 with 633 deaths. Tsaka September 2016, 690 deaths. Nasa ilalim po ba ito ng term ng ating mga former PNP chief?
Your Honor, hindi pa po ako designated doon sa 2016. Hindi pa po ako general doon.
How about po kay former PNP chief Albayalde?
It was former Chief Senator Bato, who is the Chief PNP then, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair, was it either of our former PNP chiefs present na nag-issue din itong ating pinag-usapan na Command Memorandum Circular 16, Series of 2016?
Pardon, Mr. Chairman.
Kayo po ba, Mr. Chair, yung pumirma nitong Command Memorandum Circular 16, Series of 2016 na basis ng Oplan Tokhang at yung double barrel?
It was then Chief PNP Senator De La Rosa, Mr. Chairman.
So, kung ganun, Mr. Chair, then I think there would be basis, lalo pat yung pinakamadugong mga buwan ng Oplan Tokhang ay sa ilalim ng former PNP Chief Ronald De La Rosa, then Mr. Chair, I think it would be enough basis para imbitahan din siya dito sa ating hearing, lalo na't Mr. Chair, may mga tanong pala na mas siya talaga yung makakasagot. No? And Mr. Chair, of course, nakadepende ito sa wisdom ng committee, pero ako din, I think isang mareraise po dito ay usapin ng inter-parliamentary courtesy. But Mr. Chair, there was a precedent na House member din inimbitahan sa Senado at nag-appear, Mr. Chair. So, if we stand na hindi po mas mababang kapulungan ang House of Representatives and the Senate can invite members of the House, then I think yung kabaligtaran dapat pwede rin, Mr. Chair. And if there are people who are really adamant against investigations of the ICC kasi tinuturing na foreign body siya, then we have a local avenue here dito sa committee, Mr. Chair, para magpaliwanag sila at sumagot ng mga tanong once and for all. So, yun na lang muna sa ngayon, Mr. Chair. Salamat.
I would like to inform our good Congressman Party List Kabataan that we have always informed Senator De La Rosa on this hearing. No? And if he would like to attend, he is welcome to attend. But of course, he will still follow the parliamentary courtesy, being a sitting senator. O, yan ang gagawin po natin. Now, personally speaking, kung General Abelade, I support the anti-drugs campaign. I do not want drugs to permeate in our society. I support that, no? If you have actually arrested a lot of drug pushers, for example, sa ako, pag drug addicts, dapat yan rehabilitate eh. Pag drug pushers, that parusahan yan. You see that? So, ako sinusuportahan ko yan. Ang hindi ko lang sinusuportahan, yung 6,000 na biktima. Yung mga namatay. You yourself has indicated that there was a violation of human rights during the war on drugs. Hindi papasubalian yan, no? Okay, although, personally, I would support the anti-drug war, yet I do not think that it would be useful for us to be able to see more than 6,000 people getting killed in this drug war. Yun lang po yung sa amin dito. Yun ang ating piniimbestigahan dito. We're not investigating those that have been arrested. We are investigating those that have been killed without due process of law. Yun lang po ang gusto kong sabihin sa inyo rito. Okay? So, now, we would like to ask, no, I think, bago ko tawagin itong iba mag-interpolate, gusto ko munang tawagin si Asek Cratio ng DILG on what he thinks about what we have been discussing, no? Because under the DILG is our Philippine National Police. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, and honorable members of the Committee on Human Rights and colleagues and different government agencies and guests. Sir, this representation respectfully manifests the Department of Interior and local government's acknowledgement of the seriousness of the Congress-initiated investigation and review of the slain victims of the government war on drugs. Sir, DILG supports Congress in this session and in these efforts. Thank you very much, sir.
In this juncture, I would like to commend DILG because in their war on drugs, almost no one has been killed. Pwede pala mangyari yun eh. Di ba, Asek Cratio? Pwede pala mangyari na you have been there for more than a year, yet no one has been killed. Yet you are able to apprehend drug lords. You're able to, just recently, in Cebu, 40 billion worth of drugs has been seized. Diba? I mean, I commend the DILG for realizing that you can have the anti-drug war without any victim at all. Your comment?
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair. Yan po ay nangyari sa lahat po ng pagtutulungan ng lahat po ng